hard and fast rule about humanity is we should never underestimate our mind's ability to rationalize anything. I'll always rationalize why it's okay for me to lie. And I'll always condemn you for doing it. It's chaos. And chaos is that state that throws us into complete disarray. It's funny that we talk so much about, well, I need to find my peace. I like this person because this person is my peace, my peace, my peace, my peace. Then why do we live in such ways that we just invite chaos constantly? By adding uncertainty to our own lives. By lying, by doing the things we know we're not supposed to do, by even down to a level of eating the things we know we shouldn't be eating, talking to people we know we shouldn't be talking to. Why is it that we try so hard to justify that? That's that battle between the shadow and the persona. I began by saying in a world of complete darkness, imagine you're sitting there and you've never seen any light before. And then someone comes over and they open up your eye and they shine a flashlight in your eyes. And it's gonna sting. Think of the flashlight as enlightenment. Enlightenment is truth, it's knowledge. And if you've been living your entire life in a dark room and someone comes in and shines a flashlight in your eyes, yeah, it's gonna hurt. The flashlight does do something in a dark room. It reveals the room. And it demonstrates for you that there's nothing to be afraid of in that room. The only thing you have to be afraid of in that room is what you populate with your imagination. If you're in a room and your eyes are shut like this and you can't find the walls or whatever, what's in that room? All of the dark and terrible things that are in your imagination. And as soon as you flip on the light, as soon as you enlighten people, as soon as you enlighten yourself, now you can look around and see it and go, well, there's nothing to be afraid of in here. The truth is the very thing that sets you free. So be cautious about people who try to withhold it from you. Because people who want to withhold truth from you want to withhold your freedom as well. Like, why should we do the right thing? It's called the tautology. And most of the time a tautology is, it doesn't answer a question. So for example, if I were to ask you, why is pizza the best meal? Because it tastes the best. Why do you think it tastes the best though? Because it's the best meal. In other words, it's circular reasoning. But in the case of like a moral reasoning like that, like why should you do the right thing? Because you've gotten down to the base of it. It's the it to which we're referring. Why should you do the right thing? Because it's the right thing. Because it's the right thing. So now thinking about why is it that people who will do the right thing seem so sinister? Why does that seem so sinister to people? So the last part there is important. It kind of seems to be the theme of what you're saying, that courage has to be built. So it isn't just something that you are or something that you do necessarily, but it has to be built. And one of the reasons that people oftentimes don't pursue the courageous path is because they think about how dangerous it is. We focus on the danger of it. So if you did something wrong and you get caught, our impulse oftentimes is to lie about it. Why? Because we can't face the consequences of it. We're afraid to face the consequences of it. So we lie about it because we're afraid of absorbing that. I think I was telling you guys last week or so, or maybe a week before that, this idea that I don't trust people who lie, not just because they lie, not just because I can't trust them, but because that tells me something about their character, which is that they're weak. They don't have the courage of their convictions. They don't have a conviction at all. They don't have values. And they're weak in the sense that they have to lie because they're not strong enough to absorb the consequences of what they've done or to absorb the consequences of telling the truth. Now there are more gentle ways of telling the truth, and there are very blunt ways of telling the truth, very harsh ways of telling the truth. But people who lie, they don't do either of those. They do what they think is best for themselves. And it's that last part, for themselves, that leads me to not trust them. Because like, think about what it is that you think is best for you today. And if you can think back 2 years ago, if it was the same thing that you thought was best for you back then, and now in 10 years, it'd be a great question to ask yourself, 10 years ago, what did I think was best for me? Or even just a year ago. if what you think is best for you is changing all the time, because what you really think is best for you is to avoid the consequences of your decisions, well then, what will you do to get out of your jams? Anything. What will you do to get out of getting caught for doing something terrible? Anything. And when you talk to police officers, one of the hardest things I can imagine about being a police officer is the fact that so many people that you come across in any given day are lying to you. You pull somebody over. Why? Because they cut across like 4 lanes of traffic and almost ran over a woman with a stroller. And then do you know why I pulled you over? No, because you're just harassing me. I didn't do anything. Bro, you know you just cut over 4 legs and almost killed a woman with a stroller. But they're hostile and aggressive. Why? Because they got caught and they don't have the courage to just say, because I just crossed over 4 lanes and almost ran over a woman with a stroller. Think about what that would do to you if 90% of the people you come across in any given day are all lying to you. That can start to shade how it is that you see the rest of the world. And now you have this very jaded, ugly view of the world. Everyone's always lying. Everyone's just trying to get up. Everyone's just out for themselves. And you might think, yeah, that's how it is. Then you're probably jaded just like that. Or at least you've been taught to be jaded like that. Is it true that people are out for themselves? Yes. But why? Because oftentimes they just don't know any better. Like I was saying before, if we lie and that to get out of a problem because we think that that's what's best for us. But if you could fast forward and see the results of that in your life, you probably wouldn't do it. It's just that we're so short-sighted in how we think about things. And that much is, we're taught to be that way, but it's also a matter of choice. To only think about what today looks like or tomorrow looks like. It's like I think about it, like for example, in terms of our country, we tend to think of long term as like 4 years. Who's the president now? Who's going to be the president in 4 years? We think, man, 4 years, that's a long time. And we have new policies that change the direction of the country every 4 to 8 years. When you look at other countries like China, they don't have like a 4-year plan. They have a 100-year plan. Literally, their government has a 100-year plan. They're looking 100 years into the future. Where are their great-grandchildren going to be? Not where are we going to be, but where are our great-grandchildren going to be? And yet in our own lives, it's very similar in that we look at where we're going to be later today or tomorrow. The idea of planning out for the future is so far beyond most of us. And to think about the consequences of the things, even if you lie to somebody and you get away with it, to stop and think about what that can do to you. It can fill you with this idea that, wow, I can just manipulate people. I can get away with it. And the truth is that can you get away with it? Yeah, largely yes. But again, now that shades your view of humanity. You think, well, if I'm doing it, how do you justify it? Because most people won't sit there and go, I'm just a manipulative piece of shit. That's what I am. Most people will say, well, I mean, everyone's doing it. Everyone's out for it. And you'll look for little examples and signs that other people are doing it, because then that justifies what we're doing. And yet we don't really go back to this idea of just these foundational things of, what are your values? What are your principles? Is it okay to lie to a person? If your answer to that begins with the sentence, well, it depends, I'm probably not going to trust you. Because what we're probably doing at that point is rationalizing our own lies. Why it is that it's okay for us to do it. And then that tells me that you're capable of lying under any circumstance, because a hard and fast rule about humanity is we should never underestimate our mind's ability to rationalize anything. I'll always rationalize why it's okay for me to lie. And I'll always condemn you for doing it. And yet if it's okay to lie, then it's okay to lie under any circumstance. And if it's not okay to lie, then it's not okay to lie under any circumstance. We may try to give a reason for it, we may try to give an explanation for it, but it's either right or it's wrong. As soon as you say it depends, well then you're saying it's okay. Just depend, you have to rationalize against the situation. But now, if you say to me, man, I've got your back no matter what, and yet I already know that you lie to people, my answer to you is probably going to be, okay. I know I can't trust you. I know I can't depend on you. Some people, you can depend on them because you know that they're always going to do what's right for them. So you can depend on the fact that they're going to do that. But then again, the problem with this is they don't necessarily always know what's best for them. So so they're going to judge it by situation by situation by situation. They're going to live this life of like a yacht on an ocean, just being pushed around by the waves, not grounded to anything. It's chaos. And chaos is that state that throws us into complete disarray. It's funny that we talk so much about, well, I need to find my peace. I like this person because this person is my peace, my peace, my peace, my peace. Then why do we live in such ways that we just invite chaos constantly? By adding uncertainty to our own lives. By lying, by doing the things we know we're not supposed to do, by even down to a level of eating the things we know we shouldn't be eating, talking to people we know we shouldn't be talking to. Why is it that we try so hard to justify that? Rather than just say, that's the wrong thing. Because then we say, well, I want to do this. There's the issue. There's the issue. What the things that we want are not in alignment with the things that we need, and that's not in alignment with the things that we should be doing. And that's the cause of this chaos in our lives. That's that battle between the shadow and the persona. The shadow of those drives and those desires that we can't rationalize and we don't think too much about, because if we think too much about them, then it'll cause us to reject them. I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be doing that. I know that this is bad for me in the long term. So one of the reasons I put on you so many times to not even think about yourself in situations, but think about if you had a child that you cared about and loved, would you be proud of them for behaving the way that they're behaving right now? Would you want them to do the things that you're doing? Would you advise them to follow your course? And there's nothing that you can do about the past. You can't say, well, I wouldn't want them to do the things I did. Great. But would you want them to do the things that you're doing now and forward? And so we will intentionally not think about that. That's too long term. That's 10 years, that's 20 years down the road. It's not today. And yet today is the thing that sets you up for tomorrow. The things you do today are going to be the things that you're either proud about tomorrow or the things that you're embarrassed about tomorrow. The things that you're going to be ashamed of or the things that you're going to be proud of. So which of those paths do you want to take? The path of shame or the path of being able to actually positively share your experiences and talk to people about them? Not have to hide so much. Not constantly have that battle raging between the persona and the shadow. And so, I know that the stuff I'm saying right now probably sounds like esoteric strangeness to a lot of people because, of course, to have courage of character seems sinister. It seems strange. And this is one of the reasons that people who are very straightforward and very honest scare most people. Try this sometime. Just take like a few days and be completely honest about everything. You'll be surprised how few people are going to believe what you say anyway. If you tell the truth to people and you're honest with people, most people are going to think you're joking anyway. They won't think you mean it, and they'll be shocked to find out that you actually do mean it. Yeah, because most people just simply don't have that courage. It's like when I go to meetings and you hear about there are professional ways of addressing people. It's like, shut up. It's just a way of trying to control people. You're trying to control the way that people talk. You're trying to control the way that people address. You're trying to control the dialogue because you don't want to deal with the actual substance of anything. How many times I'm just thinking to myself, how many times I've been in the office with principal meetings because of the things I say? Pretty rarely. I think once, literally, because I was teaching about psychopathy. And the principal was freaking out because I was teaching about psychopaths. How many times I've been in the office for saying things like shit, the way I say it, that's most of what it's been. It always gets dismissed, but it's interesting. And when people want to dismiss what you're saying, they won't focus on what you're saying, they're going to focus on how you say it. You say something and people say, hey, calm down. You're passionate about something, you're excited about something, you're upset about something, you're fired up about something. People go, hell, calm down. No, I'm not going to calm down. Well, then I'm not going to talk to you. People like that are looking for a reason to not get truth, to not get honesty. They would rather you present a false face. Well, let me just tell you why I'm so angry with you right now. Don't trust people like that. Those are people who are demonstrating to you that they have the capacity to try to trick and manipulate you. So, I began by saying in a world of complete darkness, imagine you're sitting there and you've never seen any light before. And then someone comes over and they open up your eye and they shine a flashlight in your eyes. And it's gonna sting. Think of the flashlight as enlightenment. Enlightenment is truth, it's knowledge. And if you've been living your entire life in a dark room and someone comes in and shines a flashlight in your eyes, yeah, it's gonna hurt, of course. And maybe that's not the best way to show someone truth, just by shining a flashlight in their eyes. But the flashlight does do something in a dark room. It reveals the room. And it demonstrates for you that there's nothing to be afraid of in that room. The only thing you have to be afraid of in that room is what you populate with your imagination. If you're in a room and your eyes are shut like this and you can't find the walls or whatever, what's in that room? All of the dark and terrible things that are in your imagination. As soon as you flip on the light, as soon as you enlighten people, as soon as you enlighten yourself, now you can look around and see it and go, well, there's nothing to be afraid of in here, except for the Gatling gun. But nothing else should frighten you. The truth is the very thing that sets you free. So, be cautious about people who try to withhold it from you. Because people who want to withhold truth from you want to withhold your freedom as well. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Dope. Happy Thursday.